by Policy Legal, and we sincerely believe that everything that you need to know about the property has certainly been encompassed into the documentation. The particular sale read that the property is legally described is certificate title as volume 09651, folio 144. What are numbers, ladies and gentlemen? What it simply means is selling the land, got a little bit of competition here today. No, just all here today as 35 Gauntlet Avenue here in Glen Waverley. The goods, the shadows, the things that will be staying with the property, should you be the lucky purchaser here today, are all fixed floor coverings, curtains, blinds and electric light fittings as inspected. The next thing to talk about is the price. What is it worth? Well, that'll be determined by your bidding here today. If you're a successful purchaser, we'll call upon you to sign a contract of sale and pay a deposit equal 10% on the fall of the contract. And the balance payable in a very flexible 30, 60, even up to 90 days from today's date, unless prior arrangements have been made with an agent. The vendor statements, otherwise known as the Section 32, shows the rates for the City of Monash to be a very reasonable $1,908.85 and Yarra Valley Water of $701.92. Obviously, a water by usage is an additional amount. As you would expect, all services including electricity, gas, telephone, water and sewerage are either connected or available to the property. And the zoning is a residential zoning Schedule 4, ladies and gentlemen, which is one of the highest and best forms of zonings you can achieve in Melbourne at this point. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I am obliged to read through the rules of auction as part of the auction proceedings, and they are as follows. The auction will be conducted in accordance with the rules and any additional conditions that were made available for inspection before the start of the auction. The auction rules prohibit an auctioneer from accepting bids or offer the property after the property has been knocked down to that successful bidder. Make that very clear, ladies and gentlemen. Once I declare the property on the market, once the contract hits my hand, the property will be sold. So if you're here to bid with confidence. Make sure I see your hand, yell it out to me. I don't mind, because make it very clear I cannot and will not take any bids once the property has been sold. The vendors have a reserve price and may I add an extremely realistic one. As an auctioneer, I'll indicate bidders upon request. The law prohibits false bids and prohibits major disruptions by bidders, and prohibits bidders attempting to prevent others from bidding, and does provide fines for this conduct. The rules permit vendor bid. The words I use during the auction to indicate I'm making a bid on behalf of the vendor are vendor bid. By law, only I as the auctioneer can make that vendor bid. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's the documentation. Are there any questions at all? Happy to help if I can. No, pretty straightforward. Let's talk about the property then. 35 Gauntlet Avenue here in Glen Waverley. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you all had an opportunity to wander through this amazing property prior to the auction commencing, so I don't plan to walk you through the home room by room, but there's certainly some things I feel I need to highlight and mention. Well, let's start with what's made this home such an outstanding performer and choice for many of you here today. 4 great-sized bedrooms, 3 generous living areas, 2 bathrooms, 2 toilets, and 1 absolutely amazing lifestyle that one lucky family will have the opportunity of securing for their family here today. The main bedroom offers the luxury of the built-in robes and its own private bathroom and toilet. The standout feature, in my opinion, ladies and gentlemen, is that generous mix of multiple living zones, whether it's in the formal lounge, the formal dining, or that's the family room, which becomes the heart of the home and cleverly connects in harmony with that meals area. Well, it sure is enough room there for the whole family to enjoy. The kitchen is an entertainer's delight, ready to cook up a storm. Sliding doors welcome you to that amazing outdoor entertaining area. Covered so it can be enjoyed all year round, making this the perfect entertainer in every aspect. While the private rear yard is a safe haven for the kids to enjoy and explore, or enjoy with your family and friends. There's also the double lock-up car accommodation, so you and your vehicles are protected from the elements of the weather. But what makes this home special certainly includes the area that it falls in. It's no secret, ladies and gentlemen, one of the biggest driving forces behind the enormous demand for property in this position is certainly schooling. Whether it's primary or secondary, or it's government or private schooling, there sure is a great list of some of Melbourne's leading schools to choose from. So certainly take that into consideration when bidding here today. We're walking distance to transport. When I say walking distance, literally at the end of the street. The train stations, the tram stops aren't that far away. So for most of you, consider this position very convenient when you take into account we're probably about 20 minutes away from the city via the easy access on the Monash Freeway. In terms of shopping, in terms of restaurants, well, we've got the newly developed Glen Shopping Centre, literally at your doorstep. So you've got a choice of cafes and restaurants that you can catch up with your family and friends, while the kids enjoy a game of bowling or catch up for a movie at the Novotel complex. Well, if you're an investor, what are you looking for? You're certainly looking for a location that we've touched on. You're also looking for an opportunity for a great return. We've got Deakin University, Monash University, literally kilometres from where we're standing here today. So in terms of rental, we never have any problems finding any tenants. When you proudly mark home this quality, quickly understand that a home, a position, and certainly location just all the boxes. Well, that's enough for me, ladies and gentlemen. But before I ask for your spirited bidding, I'd like to remind you that we offer the lucky bidder, or the first bidder here today, a fine bottle of wine to say good luck with your endeavours in securing this home. And also a way of saying thank you, of trying to secure your family's future. I'm in your hands, ladies and gentlemen. It's over to you now. Who'd like to start me off? A fair and reasonable start for 35 Gauntlet Avenue here in Glen Waverley. Don't mind where we start. It's a good bottle of wine.
1.2.
Ooh. Lead it.
1.2
Over here. Just missed out. Just missed out. 1.2, sir. Bid's over here. I'll take a bid from there if you like though. At 1.2, I'm fairly bid. At 1.2, I'm in your hands. At 1.2, I'll call it down. At 1.2, best position right now. At 1.2, can I call from here? At 1.2, I have for the first call at 1.2. Second call at 1.2. Third call at 1.2. All done, all finished, all silent at the 1.2. So can I tempt you 1.25? You thanking me tomorrow? Sure, too early to do this. At 1.2, best position right now. At 1.2, I'll call it down. At 1.2, for the first call at 1.2. Second call at 1.2. Third call at 1.2. We're all done, all finished, all silent. Can I tempt you at all? Great home. Look at the crowd. Bit of an indication of what you could be securing for your family. At 1.2, I'm over here. Ladies and gentlemen, in your hands. At 1.2, I'll call it down. At 1.2, for the first call, second call, third and final time. We're all done, all finished, all silent. Ladies and gentlemen, we know there's interest here. In order for us to be able to help you, you need to do that by showing your hand and showing your interest. At 1.2, best position right now. At 1.2, I'll call it down. At 1.2, if I don't get a bit, I'll move it along myself. At 1.2, give you an opportunity to take control. At 1.2, I'm over here. At 1.2, I have for the first call. At 1.2. Second call at 1.2. Third call at 1.2. All done, all finished, all silent at the 1.2. Ladies and gentlemen, 4 great sized bedrooms, 3 living areas, outdoor alfresco, private rear yard, lock up car accommodation. The list just goes on and on and on. At 1.2, wouldn't even be land value, I would think. At 1.2, I'm in your hands, great opportunity, opportunities now. At 1.2, well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to move it along. 1.25 bids with me is against you now. At 1.25, at 1.25, back at 1.3 if you like. I need 2 of us in at the moment, I'm sure we'll get there anyway. At 1.25, at 1.213 would be great. Good decision at 1.3. At 1.25 bids with me. At 1.25, you're all welcome to join in. No, we'll take your time. At 1.25, 1.3, can I say?
Will you take 10?
I'll take 50. Mid-50s, we'll get there anyway. Sure would agree. Can wait? It's a beautiful day, I can understand. Come with you 50 though, show control. Well, hold on to your 10 for now and I'll come back to you shortly. At 1.25, bids with me is against you as well. At 1.25 I have. At 1.25 you're all welcome to join in. At 1.25 I have for the first call at 1.25. Second call at 1.25. Third call at 1.25. All done, all finished, all silent at the 1.25. Can I tempt you at all? 1.3. Good strong bid. Yes? Can I say 1.3? Look at what you're buying, look at the crowd. At 1.25, can I tempt you now? Tell you what, halfway, make it. I'll take you 20, sir. At 1.27, that's your competition over here.
1.3.
1.3 over here, fresh bidding. Welcome to the bidding and good luck with it today. At 1.3 we got there. At 1.3 I'll take another 20 if you like. 1.32, quick bid's a good bid. At 1.3 I'm over here. At 1.3 it's against you as well. At 1.3 I'm fairly bid. At 1.3 I have for the first call at 1.3. Second call at 1.3. Third call at 1.3. All done, all finished, all sold at the 1.3. 1.20, sir. You're a hard man. I'm trying to help you secure the home. Come with me. It's only money, sir. I'll tell you what, I'll take you 10 just so nicely. At 1.31. At 1.31, I'll give you the same opportunity over there as well. At 1.31, 1.35 will be even better. At 1.31, I'm over here. At 1.31, I've given you a moment, and over here as well. At 1.31, I have for the first call.
1320.
1320, good decision, put you back on top. 30, can I say? 30 I have. At 30, it's against you now. 50 will be even better. 50, 50, good decision.
Sorry, 40.
40, oh, it's 50. I'll take you 40. At 1.34, 35, 35 I have. This is more like it. At 1.35, 36, can I say? At 1.35 I have. At 1.35, it's got a little bit quiet over here. At 1.35 I have for the first call. At 1.35. Second call at 1.35. Third call at 1.35. Are we all done? All finished? All silent at the 1.35? In your hands.
70.
70, good decision. You're back on top at 70 we have. At 1.37. At 1.37, 80 straight back. At 1.38. At 1.38, make it 1.4 because we'll probably get there.
1.4.
Good decision at 1.4, you're back there. At 1.4, you're back on top. At 1.4, I'll call it down. At 1.4, 10, 20. Is that fine? No? At 1.4, I have. At 1.4, can't tempt you at all. At 1.4, I'll call it down. At 1.4, I have for the first call. At 1.4. Second call at 1.4. Third call at 1.4. Are we all done? All finished? All silent? At the 1.4. We're on the market. You heard it there, ladies and gentlemen. There's no further bidding. We're looking at the new owner at the 1.4. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have time to act, because it won't be here tomorrow, at 1.4 we have. At 1.4, can I tempt you now? At 1.4, I'm fairly bid. At 1.4, it is on the market, sir. We're selling. Let's all be clear. We're on the market. We're selling. Can I tempt you at all? 10 will put you back on top. Just wanted to confirm, that was all. 05, I thought you'd do that. At 1.405, it's all money from here. At 1.405, give you the same opportunity over here as well. At 1.405, at 1.405, 41. 41, you're straight there and straight back on top. At 1.41, at 1.41 I have. At 1.41, 5? 15, 15 straight back. At 1.415, at 1.415, 20 can I say? 20 straight back, 20, 25. Did that before, sir. We're at 20 over here, let's be clear. Give you the same opportunity, plenty of thinking time. We're on the market, we're selling. At 1.42, it's against you. Over here as well, at 1.42. We have the first call at 1.42. Second call at 1.42. Third call at 1.42. All done, all finished, all silent. We're selling. Property's going.
425.
425, just got there. At 425 we have. At 425,
143.
4-3 straight back. 4-3, 4-5 would be even better. 4-3, it's over here. 5 will put you back in front. 50 will probably get you there. At 1.43. At 1.43, I have fairly bid. We're selling. First call. Second call. Third and final time.
435.
3.5. It's 3.5 we got there. At 3.5, it's against you again. At 1.435. At 1.435, giving you a moment as well. At 1.43.
1.440.
440 straight back. 440, I'll tell you what, we're going to get to 50. At 1.44. 5 will put you back on top. 10 will be even better. Make it 50. At 1.44, it's over here, it's against you now. At 1.44, give you a moment. First call at 1.44. Second call at 1.44. Third call at 1.44. Are we all done? All finished? All silent? At the 1.44.
145.
4.5. At 4.5 we have. At 4.5, make it 50.
1.460.
60 even better. At 1.46. At 1.46, don't let that intimidate you though. At 1.46, make it 5. At 1.46 I have. At 1.46 we're selling. First call at 1.46. Second call at 1.46. Third call at 1.46. We're all done, all finished, all silent. We're selling. Done all legwork, sir, at start, definitely. Tempted at all. Over here, you've done all legwork as well. At 1.46, it's against you.
47.
470. At 1.47. At 1.47, 48 straight back. At 1.48. At 1.48 against you again. Looks like it's a race to 1.5. Who's going to get there first? At 1.48, I'm fairly big. At 1.48, I'll give you a moment. Now's the time to act. Now's the time to show some strength. At 1.48, we're selling. First call, second call, third and final time. All done, all finished. At the 1.48, can I let him have it? Holding the keys right now. Need a decision, need to be fair. Called down 3 times, property will be sold, let's be clear. First call at 1.48. Second call at 1.48. Third call at 1.48. All done, all finished.
85.
I just got in there, 85. 85 straight back against you now.
Did you take 1,000?
1,000. Power of 1. I'll tell you what, it's all money from here, I'll take your 1,000. At 1.486. At 1.486, I'll give you the same opportunity. For a strong bid, it would be a bigger bid. At 1.486. 49. Make it 49. At 1.486, we're fairly bid over here. We're selling. First call at 1.486. Second call at 1.486. 87. 87 we have. At 87, make it 90.
1,490.
490, great. At 490 we have. At 1.49. At 1.49, tell you what, make it the last bid, make it a strong bid, make it 1.5. At 1.49, great position right now, we're selling. First call at 1.49. Second call at 1.49. Third call at 1.49. Are we all done? All finished? All silent? 95? 95 I heard. At 1.495. At 1.495, guess what the next number is?
1.5.
1.5 we got there. At 1.5 over here it's against you again. At 1.5 fairly big. At 1.5 I'll call it down. At 1.5 now's the time not to do this. Done all the legwork. Don't think about what you're spending today, think about what it's worth tomorrow. In 12 months, in 2 years time. It's only a win-win. At 1.5 I'm fairly bid. First call, second call, third and final time. We're selling. Selling. At the 1.5, against you.
1,000.
1,000. All that for the 1. At 1 we have. At 1.501 I'll give you the same opportunity.
502.
502. At 502 we have. At 1.502. At 1.502. Extra 1. Put you there. At 1.502, let's be clear, we're selling. First call at 1.502. Second call at 1.502. Third call at 1.502. We're all done, all finished, all silent. Didn't answer now. We'll be gone tomorrow.
Another
03. 03 we have. At 1.503.
1.505.
05 we have. At 1.505. At 1.505 it's against you again. At 1.505 best position. It's against you again. Not sure what you're thinking. At 1.505 we're selling. Been asked to give you a moment. Need to be fair though. It's a beautiful day, but it's quite hot over here. At 1.505, first call, second call, third and final time. Yes? Quick decision, be good.
Another 1,000.
Another 1,000. At 506. At 1.506.
507.
07. 07, they know their values. At 1.507. At 1.507, I'm in your hands again. At 1.507, we're over here against you, make it 8. At 1.507, we're over here against you. Yes? Beautiful neighbourhood. All the neighbours are here. Could be buying into this area. Only one bit away. At 1.505. 507. First call, second call, third and final time. You're done. Can't tempt you at all. Need to be fair, need to move it along. Is that a yes? I like this, I don't like that. No? Yes? I'm in your hands, need a decision no. I'll call it down 3 times, the property will be sold over here. First call, second call, third and final time, we're selling at 1.507. Need a decision. At 1.507, we're selling, need to be fair. A lot of numbers I'm hearing, but I'm not sure which one to follow. 1.507. You said you're in control, it's your decision. At 1.507, make it a strong bid, make it 5-1. 0.507, we're selling, the property's going.
1,000.
1,000. At 1.508. 1.508, I'm in your hands.
509.
509. 509. 5-1, we'll get there. At 1.509, I'm in your hands. First call at 1.509. Second call at 1.509. Third call at 1.509.
Another 1,000.
Another 1,000. At 1.51. At 1.51, I'll tell you what, let's ramp it up. Let's make it 1.5. Even better. 515 sounds better. Easier to remember when you tell your family and friends. At 1.51.
511.
11 straight back. At 1.511. At 1.511, we're working hard here today. At 1.511. 515, it's got better ring to it. Easy to remember. Yes. At 1.511, I'm fairly bit over here. Against you now. I'm not sure what to believe. At 1.511. 1.5. Make it a strong bid. Position yourself best. 4 great sized bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 2 toilets, move in and enjoy. Yes?
Another 1,000.
Another 1,000. At 1.512. At 1.512, we're going to have the same discussion. 1.515. Good decision. At 1.515. Done all legwork. I'm in your hands. I need to move it along though. Looking at the new owner, if there's no further bidding, at 1.515, first call at 1.515. Second call at 1.515. Third call at 1.515. We're selling. Property's going. Almost gone. Yes. Yes, no, I need a decision. Need to be fair over here. You know it's a new good home. 1.515, we're selling over there, there's no bid. At 1.516, the one will put them back in front. At 1.516. Oh, 52 is better. 180.
1518.
1.8. At 1.8, you're back on top. At 1.518. Excuse me. At 1.518. 5.2. Still 10. Oh, it's a good one. And we're there anyway. At 1.518, we have for the first call, second call, third and final time. Yes? Yes? Need a decision. At 1.518, we're selling. Selling. Yes.
1525.
1525, even better, good strong bid. At 1.525. Don't let that intimidate you though. 5-3.
1526.
1526. At 1.526 we have. At 1.526. At 1.526. 5-3. Great home. At 1.526 we're selling over here. First call, second call, third and final time. Pretty quiet neighbourhood, isn't it? We're selling. Yes. Need to move it along. I will be selling it now. 5-3. When I knock it down, it'll be sold. It won't be here again. I'll call it down 3 times. First call at 1.526. Second call at 1.526. Third call at 1.526. We're selling. Selling. Eventually.
28. 1528.
528. Took a bit of time, but we got there. At 1.528. At 5.3, can I say? At 1.528. It's over there, it's against you now.
1530.
1.530. At 1.53. At 1.53 we have. At 1.53. 535. Ones aren't working. At 1.53 we're over here. It's against you. First call at 1.53. Second call at 1.53. Third call at 1.53. All done, all finished, all silent at the 1.53. Yes? Is that a yes? Looks like you've done it. Going to move it along. Once I knock it down, it'll be sold. Let's be clear. Yes? First call at 1.53 over here. Second call at 1.53. Third call at 1.53. We're all done, all silent. We're selling. Yes? Out, in. I need acknowledgement. Need to be fair. Yes? Just need a decision. Yes? 3-8. Yes? 1.53. 3-8, make it a good number. Make it your last one if you like. Yes? Yes?
Another one.
Another one. At 1.531. At 1.531, I'll give you some opportunity. Quick on, better. That's 3-1. 1,000. 3-2. 3-2 straight back. At 3-2 should have gone with that first option. At 1.532. At 1.53. I'm going to move it along now. Make it a good strong bid. Like your son. Not sure, I'm in your hands. First call at 1.532. Second call at 1.532. Third call at 1.532. We're selling. Property's going. Going. Yes? You can sell the wine and get 1,000 back. Yes? No? Definitely out? Out? I take it as no answer as your acceptance. Yes? So you're definitely out? Yep. Wait. So it's famous words. Wait. At 1.532 we're selling. The property's going. Going. You're definitely out? Is that a yes or a no? Make it your last bid. Need to be fair. In your hands. I need some guidance though. Ladies and gentlemen, we're selling at the 1.32.
1553.
Sorry, 532. So we've got a bit of sunstroke over here. At 1.532.
Another 1,000.
33. At 1.533. At 1.533. It's against you again. At 1.533. 3 makes 3.5. You've done all legwork. Yes. Need to be fair, give him a moment. At 1.533. Best position right now. At 1.533. 1.533. I'm in your hands. At 1.533. First call at 1.533. Second call at 1.533. Third call at 1.533. Well done.
534.
3-4. At 3-4 we have you back on top at 3-4. At 1.534. Is that a yes or a no? At 1.534. Yes? It's over there, it's against you. I'll be selling. First call at 1.534. Second call at 1.534. Third call at 1.534. All done, all finished, all silent.
3-5.
3-5. 3-5, they're back on top. 3-5 we have. In your hands at 1.535. It's over there, it's against you now. 1.535. Prime position. It's over here, it's against you. Yes? Need to move it along. Yeah? Okay, no, I understand. I think they want a little bit of time, rightfully so. At 1.535. At 1.535, over here, it's against over there. At 1.535. At 1.535. Hope I've given you enough time now. 1,000 will put you back on top. At 1.535. Everyone's very relaxed in this area. 1.535. You know the right decision. You know the right decision. This, done all legwork at 1.535. It's over here, it's against you. One more bid will put you there. Yes. Five, 3.8. 3.8. Good strong bid at 1.538. Yes. 1.538. Up to you to decide. 3-4 is probably going to be that number we get to. 1.538. First call, second call, third and final time. All done. At 1.538. 5-4 can I say? Put it along. Yes? First call at 1.538. Prime position over here. Second call at 1.538. Third call at 1.538. All done, all finished, all silent. We're selling. Yes? We're selling. The property's going. Going. Can't wait any longer. Got an appointment at 9 o'clock tonight. Yes? No? Quick decision is a good decision. Yes? At 1.538, looks like you may have done it. The property's going. Giving you ample time. The acknowledgement, yes, no. I'll take that as a no then. Just wait. Can't wait any longer. Need to be fair over here. 538. Yeah. Yes, 100%. Well, thank you for your bidding. The property's going. Sure. Yes, no. Shouldn't have done that, should I? At 1.538, I'm selling on the third call, first call, second call, third and final time. Property's going. About to sell. Won't be here tomorrow. Yes? No? Wait. Famous words ago. At 1.538, I won't wait. To be clear, you do need to move it along. Need to be fair. Yes, no? Decision right now. Yeah? I'll take that as a no then. Ladies and gentlemen, we're looking at the new owners. There's no further bidding. First call, second call, third and final time at 1.538. Last opportunity. Property's going. Definitely out. Decision. Definitely out. The property's going. Out. I will knock it down right now. I will knock it down. Definitely out. Yes. Sold. Congratulations. You're welcome.
Hi. Really good bidding.